Ashley Howard with Ashley Howard Teaches, and I'm so excited to bring to you second grade curriculum that I loved and that I didn't like as much. All right, so I want to get started, but first, would you hit that subscribe button? Oh my word, if you're looking for reviews, if you're looking for homeschool ideas, anything homeschool, I would love to help you out. So hit that subscribe button. All right, so let me start off with math. All right, so I have 5 kids. So for math, for my second grader looks different than my fourth grader. So my second grader is using Horizons. Now, while she's jealous that she doesn't get to do her math online, it's very rigorous and I feel like she can handle it. And she doesn't mind doing math. I have other kids who can handle it but don't like math, so teaching textbooks is a great fit. So math is one of those things that it really depends on your child, their aptitude for math or their love for math, and their excitement about it. All right, so let me show you Horizons Math real quick. So here is Horizons Math. We are on book 1. We're about to finish it because we're right at Christmas time, and this is something that I give a big thumbs up to. We have loved this, and she's learned so much. All right, so quick flip through, you can see we're adding, we're subtracting, and by the end of this book, and we're only halfway through, we're learning multiplication. Oh my word, so lots of addition, lots of subtraction, lots of practicing clocks, money, facts. So there's so many great things about this curriculum. I will say my one downfall is it's math, so sometimes it's not as exciting and sometimes it's kind of a drudgery to get through. My slight negatives is that even though they're not practicing getting their facts faster. So if you notice your child is getting frustrated with math a lot, let me encourage you to go back to those math facts. So a lot of their times it's kind of a drudgery because they're slowing way down. They're counting on their fingers to add, to multiply, those different things. So here's what I want you to add in because this has helped us so much. And it was a suggestion given by my mom, and I was like, you're right, our math facts aren't that fast. That's why we're getting frustrated with math. So here's what we added in. So we got these Flash Kids cards. These were on Amazon. I'll leave a link to everything I talk about in this video down below so that you have access to it. You don't need to write anything down. All right, so these are great. They go through the 12s. Now, traditionally, we do classical conversations as well, so we skip count to 15s, but these were great for just learning those fast facts, math facts. All right, so if you go to CC's website, you can go through 15 if you're looking for that as well. All right, so these were great. We did times, we made it fun. Let's see how many you can get in a minute. Let's beat our time, use different kind of timers. It just makes it fun, and they get excited when they learn more and more cards. All right, so saying that, we went through 0 through 9 first, and then we added in the bigger numbers. That way we lessen the frustration. We also like doing these timetable tests, and I started printing these out, and I was losing some of them and getting frustrated, so I bought this book, and this has been so helpful too. So let me show you that real quick. So here is the book. This is 100 time tests for addition. Now they also have this for multiplication, and I believe division too. We used it for my fourth grader for multiplication, and we probably will have her using this as multiplication as well later on, but this was great for addition, and it starts out so slow, and you get to put their time. You can see right here, you get to put their time, how many they got correct, and they just go through, and actually she wanted to do 2 or 3 pages to try to beat her time. So of course I encouraged that. That was so exciting. So we made it a goal that we didn't get frustrated if we didn't get all of them in. We're just trying to increase our personal score. So if you got 40 done that day out of 60, that was great. Let's try to get 42 tomorrow. So we're trying to increase that speed with lessening and lessening frustration. And I've noticed it's made a huge difference in our math and not getting frustrated with math because those facts come faster, they can get through their practice faster, and they feel so much more accomplished. For math, I also like to buy one of these little clocks. I might have bought this in Target in that dollar section and the $3 section. It was so good. I love to have big clocks around because these are fun. You can move these hands. They can practice their time, and it makes it more fun because it's hands-on. We also like to use this as an addition war game where you play the traditional war, but you get to add your cards, and whoever comes up with the highest sum, that's who wins the war. All right, so fun ways to make math fun. We also love Some Swamp. I'm currently lost in my house somewhere. We're cleaning and moving things around, but I will leave the link below. That is great for addition. Oh, my kids love playing that. They think it's fun time and not school time. So that's a double win. They're having fun and learning. All right, so that's our math. Let's move on to science. All right, so I have 2 solutions for science. Okay, so my first scenario is when you just have your 2nd grader and below, and they're younger, and so I love this one. Okay, so this is Master Books, Adventures on Planet's Earth. All right, this is the 3rd level. Some of their levels, I feel like the kids could learn at a higher level. So I always up a level on Master Books as far as these science books, because I feel like in 2nd grade, they can really get this material. So we did level 3. We've started this one. We have not finished it. They really like this book, my 2nd and 4th grader, who I kind of pair together on everything. So I would say it's really good in terms of giving an overview of great science topics. I think it's really sweet. It talks about the Lord. It puts everything back on God. And I love that about these books. And they're really sweet and really good. But I think for me, they could go a little bit deeper and a little bit more. All right, so if you just have a 2nd grader and below, this is great. It keeps their attention. It's so much fun. They learn science facts. They learn about photosynthesis. They learn about decomposition. They learn about so many different things. So I really do like this book. However, so I have a 4th grader and I felt like he could learn more and I wanted to pair them together. So here's my suggestion. Do one 2 days a week and the other 2 days a week if you have that time. If you just need a little bit of time with science, this is great. Now, if you want to go deeper into science and you feel like your 2nd grader can stay with your 4th grader, this is a great one too. So I love Apologia. I've always loved Apologia, but there are some books that I really love more that capture my kids' attention more, and this is it, guys. This hit the mark 100%. We've tried different ones and they got bored because it was kind of long reading and they didn't know what to do, but this one has so many experiments, so I'm so excited to share it with you. Hey, real quick, if you're getting value in this video, would you hit this like button, because you don't know how much that helps this channel to keep bringing you content and fun ideas for homeschooling. Also hit subscribe, it helps so much, and I love sharing with you. All right, so let me show you the Apologia book. All right, so this is it, Exploring Creations with Physics and Chemistry. We have adored this book. There are so many experiments. And traditionally, the other Apologia books, they haven't had as many experiments, but this one, I will show you. Every time it says, try this, and look, we're learning about valence electrons and neutrons and protons, and if you think your child can't handle that, they really can. It's so amazing. She's learned so much. And so I'll show you kind of what I do with this too, to kind of take it down a level for her and move it up a level for my son who's older. All right, so let's see, right here we have, so you'll see every time you see this, try this, there's experiments, and they're not like boring experiments. My kids love them. They're so much fun. So we have lots of all these try this, almost like every other page there's a different experiment. And then in the student notebooks, which are an absolute must, the student notebooks have extra experiments for you. So if you love hands-on science, which I absolutely adore, and I'm kind of guilty of not always getting the materials, so make this material list to bring to the store the week before. I'm telling you, it sneaks up on you, and then they're looking at these cool experiments and you don't have the materials. All right, so let me show you the notebooks real quick. These are so good. And guys, this stuff goes so deep into science and they learn so much. All right, so here is the student notebook. So we're talking about atoms here, and you can see there's little drawing areas. So she's drawn her things and she's written about atoms. Now, what I like to do is we will talk about it first and kind of talk about, oh, what did you learn? And we stop a lot to make sure that we're tuned in, make sure that we're learning. I also sometimes let them color these coloring pages. This book comes with coloring pages with verses. So sometimes if I feel like, oh, they need to be like moving and doing something, they can color these pages with these Bible verses at the bottom. All right, so what I like to do is I get a giant whiteboard. I have one of those like really old whiteboards, and I write on there exactly what they tell me they've learned. So they might tell me some facts about an atom, some facts about some things we learned. And then because they'll be asking me for spelling, I have that all written out, and so they can look at that and then they copy it in here. So great for copy work, great for handwriting, great for remembering facts. And then we do our science experiment, which they're so excited about doing. So this is great. Now with my 4th grader, I have them write a little bit more on their own without me just writing it out. And so they're required a little bit more. For my 2nd grader, I have her write a couple sentences. And sometimes I find that I'm asking her to write too much, so I'll lower it. Maybe let's just write 2 sentences about something we learned today. And it's amazing what they'll pop up and say later when you're just doing something. They're like, oh, it's just like in chemistry, we learn in chemistry and physics. So this is a great book. It's great for all ages. If my 6th grader didn't already have a science that she was doing, I would include her in this too because I absolutely love it. All right, so that's our science. All right, so for Spanish, we use Homeschool Spanish. Now this one's fun. It comes with a CD in the back, so it's not extra. There's another CD that you can buy with this. I think you don't need it. I don't think you need it. Teacher's manual, I've never used. I'd say this is the main thing of this curriculum. They love it. There's a little song that goes with it, and they catch on, and I hear them singing about the first week of the semester, remembering the song if I ask them a question. So it's amazing how much music really gets in their head, and they really learn the facts. All right, so as you can see, for this book right here, if you can see, we're learning about animals, we're learning about counting. Now it goes way deeper. We're learning days of the week. So we're learning parts of the house. We're learning so many things. And it's so great because as you go further in this book, you're putting together almost sentences so that they know they're not just learning individual vocabulary, but they're starting to learn how to put sentences together. So awesome. So I love this book. Homeschool Spanish is one of my favorites. Now, if you're just beginning in your Spanish journey, I would highly suggest that you start with level 1. This is book 2, and I would be so glad if they came out with the book 3. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but man, how we love this curriculum. The next book after this really leaps forward to verb conjugations, which has been a hard thing for me, kind of bridging that gap, but I will talk about more of that in another video. But this one is so good. So we have loved it. We love the music. So much fun. All right, so if you're looking for foreign language, this is where you go, right here. All right, so let's move on to history. So for history, we use America's Story 3. Now, we've been through America's Story 1, 2, and 3. They're all about the same level. It's not about the levels so much as different things in history and different time in history. So this is great. When you're combining ages, I always had a hard time. I just don't have enough time in the day to read to all the different curriculum grade levels. So this is a great one. If you have a bigger family and you want to sit down and read, I would totally, again, I would include my 6th grader. She's in Challenge for Classical Conversations right now. And so she has her own curriculum all laid out for her. But this one is so good for a range of ages. If I could get my kindergartner to sit down long enough, I would have him listen to this as well. All right, so this one is great. As I've said before, Master Books for History reads like a story. And if you're looking for a history curriculum and you want to look at all the different ones and you're trying to decide, I have a video that I will link above that goes through all the different history curriculums. But let me just say, I land on this one every time because it reads like a story. Now, they also have a student workbook that goes with this book. I use it sometimes. It's a good book. I just don't have as much time. I'd rather focus on the science, and I love history, and I love to read through this. We just don't ever have time to do the student notebook. I know it would be great to do, so if you have that extra time, go for it. It's really good. I just don't have that time, and that's one of the things I just have to cut out. So this book, you're going to go through, you get to see pictures. It's not boring at all. I traditionally in school did not like history, but I love this book and I love reading about history because it's not dry. It's just fun. It takes you through history at a fast pace. You learn so many different wonderful things in this book. And we have loved it. I can't say enough about Master Books history. It's been such a joy and so great to include into our curriculum. All right, so that is our history that we use. We also use a lot of living books for history. The who was, the what is, all those different books. Now, speaking of history, we also love to read every morning during our Bible time. We read these Christian heroes then and now. So as far as history for your great missionary heroes, this book is amazing. You have all the great missionaries and it goes through these books. Now, these are a little bit harder to read for your 2nd grader, but since I have older kids, I include her in that. So you might look at this book and think, wow, you really suggested this? I would say this is a a good combo book. There's books like Lou Giglio's How Great Are Thou that are wonderful for second grade as far as devotional books, for science and for Bible. But for me, for history, I want them to learn about great missionaries. So this is a great one. So this is a great segue into Bible time and what we use for Bible time. So we use this and read this as a family. So good for them to learn about Christian heroes. For Bible, our main thing is this book right here, the Day by Day Kids Bible. I know it's falling apart. Okay, so I bought this used and we've used it all the time. It's a wonderful Bible. It goes through the Bible in kids' language. It's read the Bible in 365 days. For kids, now we have extended that into 2 years, but that's okay. We're making progress and the kids have learned so much. I always ask them, okay, how does that apply to your life? And what have you learned from the Bible today? And what can we work on in our own personal life to honor God with what we've learned? So these are great. So I also love to have my daughter memorize scripture. Now we are in Awanas, and if you don't know about that, look that up. Our church says Awanas. We love it. It's all about memorizing God's word and hiding God's word in your heart. So we absolutely adore that program. We love to write. I found this on Amazon. I'll link this below. It's 77 memory verses for every child to know. So you go through and you write your Bible verse and then they can color on this side. So this is super sweet, super easy to do in the morning, even maybe while you're reading the Bible. If they can be attentive and write their verse and color, this is a great thing for them to do. So we have loved that. This one's been good. I have my 2nd and 4th grader do this one. So we also love this Indescribable by Lou Giglio. He has 3 of these books out that match science and Bible together. So it's a devotional with science involved. So it talks about some science fact, maybe volcanoes, maybe clouds, maybe storms or mountains. And it talks all about it and tells us about what the background is for science and some interesting facts. And then it goes through how God created the foundations of the earth and it links it to God. So it's wonderful because I love these devotionals that are kid-friendly, that are bite-sized, but that they really learn about the Lord and they're also learning about science. So as you can see, after we do that, we always pray in the morning after we've read about our great missionary, we've read our Bible, and then we've read one of these. We always go and we pray together and then we start our day well. So I love starting out with this. This is a great one. Oh, and I can't leave this without saying we love the Jesus Storybook Bible. Now this one is bilingual because I like to practice and keep my skills up for Spanish. So sometimes in my free time, I will read the Spanish version. And I think it's great because I'm learning Bible in Spanish and I'm practicing. And sometimes if my 3-year-old's willing to listen, then I will read some bilingual things to him as well, just for him to get some practice. All right, so this one is so good. I'm sure y'all have seen this. If you haven't, it's wonderful. It just goes through the Bible and the kids just love the way that this is written. They love how they talk about how the Lord loves them and it's just a great Bible. So good, so wonderfully made. All right, so let's move on. So now let's talk about spelling. So I don't know about you, but me and spelling have not gotten along in our homeschool. There's been a lot of things that I've done well. Spelling is not one of them. I noticed gaps and I was blown away. I said, yeah, I'm a very big speller by heart. So for me to have my kids to be able to spell well, just to really hurt my heart, I really wanted to encourage them and increase their learning in this way. So once I found all about spelling, when my daughter was young, my oldest daughter was younger, I hit the jackpot. I love it. It's hands-on, it's fun spelling, and they learn the rules of spelling, and it's so good. So we just completed all about spelling 1, and now we're moving on to level 2. So I wanted to show you level 2. All right, so let me walk you through this really quick because it looks, when you look at the paper, you're like, this is kind of boring. But if you look at this, it tells you the rule of spelling. Then they go through and they spell it with these tiles. So I have all my tiles in here so I can always keep them handy. And what you can do is put magnets on the back of these and then get like a pan. And as you spell, they stick them to the pan. So that's a great way to do this one. And so what they do is they go through and they spell their words, learning this new rule. So they have practice with just the words right here, and then they'll have practice dictating sentences. So sometimes my kids want to spell out with the word tiles. Sometimes my kids have no desire whatsoever to do that, and they just want to tell me in there out loud orally. And then sometimes I have some kids who just want to write it. Can I just write it? And my answer is yes, yes, yes. As long as we're learning spelling, I'm so excited. Now there are days where we get through one lesson and I think, oh my, did we learn that spelling rule? And there are days when we go in and the spelling rules are clicking and we go through 3 different lessons of spelling. And they know it and they've already learned it and maybe somehow they've caught that rule already. And so we just move through. That's one of the joys of homeschooling, is moving at your own pace. So I will leave a link below for this one. Anytime you use these links, it's all things that I've used before. I do have affiliate links, but it's just brings a blessing to our family, and it allows me to keep bringing free content for you. All right, so I love these books. So all about reading. They also have all about reading, which is what we have done to teach our kids to read. My daughter can already go through level 4, so we are happy and doing good. But if you don't have a reading program and you're still struggling to read, All About Reading is hands-on. They have a workbook that's hands-on. They have books that are great with wonderful stories. And I will leave that link down below too. So All About Reading, hands down, wonderful, excellent, and I'm talking about excellent program. So they hit all the marks and then they exceed them. So they're very highly well thought of in the homeschooling community. Love them, think they're great. So if I haven't sung their praises enough already, it's helped my family tremendously. So that is our spelling that we use. All right, so for geography, what do we use? Okay, we are in a classical conversation community group. So we meet 1 day a week and we do CC. So during CC, they have geography time where there's 3 different cycles. So one cycle will go through all the United States. Another cycle will go through the ancient world, and then another cycle will go through the map today. We'll go through Kazakhstan, you just name it, Africa, all these different countries and continents and oceans and different things. So we use that a lot for geography, but I also like to bring in some games. And one of my top favorite games is Scrambled States of America. So this one is fun for learning your United States. I can do a whole video on learning your states and capitals because I have so many great resources that I've collected over time. So let me know in the comments below if that's something that interests you, and I will send that out and make a video for you on that. All right, so this is a great game to play. And I wanted to show you real quick our CC Classical Conversations map. So as you can see, each week you go through 5 different things. And if you're not a part of a CC community, oh my goodness, I am not an affiliate for them. I'm not affiliated with them at all. But we have done CC since my daughter was little. It's great for learning. They excel. They teach you Latin and science and fine arts and music. So it's a great program. So this is what we use for our geography. It has been so helpful. But even if you're not a part of the community, you can get one of these maps and they are so good, and it helps you to kind of decide what to teach each week. You can actually do CC at home without a community. So it's a great program for learning your science, your history, your math, skip counting, music, all sorts of things. So I love them and we've used that for years. So I highly recommend, if you're not a part of one of those, that would be a great idea too, especially if you're looking for a community of like-minded believers who want to teach their kids and with excellence. I'm all about excellence. So I wanted to show you one more math game. So we love multiplication SWAT. As I said before, I'll leave that link below. This one is so fun. I love this for all the different ages, for learning to multiply. They just swat these different flies and have fun with it. And we put a timer on. So this is a fun one. They like this one. I like to include snap circuits. We do this. Now, I don't know if you consider this math or I don't know what you would consider this, but I think this is great for intellectual thinking, for problem solving. So I love doing this. This would be a great Christmas gift for a boy. This is great for all ages. It has a booklet that shows you exactly how to make them. And there's like 50 different creations that you can make. And you can sound bells. I'll just show you real quick. So inside you get all these parts and they tell you exactly where to put them. And it's not hard because I'm not good at making circuits, so it's very easy to learn. But you can even make a propeller go off, you can make alarm sound, you can make lights go off, and they tell you exactly where to put everything, and they show you exactly what to do, so it's very beginner level. All right, so for drawing, we love these Draw Right Now books because they're step-by-step and they're hands-on. And let me show you those real quick. They have a whole series online. I thought, oh, I'll just buy one book and see if I like it. And I ended up buying all the books separately instead of just buying the series. So if you think you like these at all, I think it's cheaper to buy the series, but it's great for 2nd grade. It goes step by step. You learn, you write about them. Now sometimes they will write exactly this, especially if I don't have any time and I just need them to do their handwriting, do art, and kind of do it all at once by themselves. But if I do have time, I will let them narrate a story to me. I'll write it on a piece of paper and then they can copy it so that they can also practice good spelling. So these are fun. These are such sweet little books. I love these. We also love Art Hub for Kids. It's an online, it doesn't cost, they're YouTube videos. I think you can buy a subscription, but you don't have to. And it's great because this guy is so fun. My son loves to draw, only to watch him draw it, because otherwise he's not interested in drawing. But this guy is so fun, so engaging, and draws really fun things. So I highly suggest you look that up too for art. All right, now if you have any suggestions for art, I would love to hear about them. Tell me about them in the comments below. So for handwriting, I love a reason for handwriting. Now we're on level B, which is right on target. So I love this because you can go step by step and you're writing Bible verses. So day 1, you'll write your letters, you'll write a word. Then day 2, you have more. And then by day 4, so we go through day 3, and by day 4, you're copying a memory verse. So this is so sweet, and I love to add to this by having them write it again on a piece of paper in rainbow letters, or write each line in different colors just for fun. And then we post them up on our windows so that we can see them. So they look something like this. Isn't this sweet? And it's so sweet to put them in a binder with page protectors and save these forever. And remember your kids learning scripture as they go. So these are super sweet. And since my daughter was talking about how her friends knew cursive already and we hadn't really taught cursive, I went ahead and bought one of these simple cursive writing books so we can practice writing her name and writing different words in cursive. So we have started that. So you can see this is just a really easy, simple book for cursive. But it's one of those things as homeschoolers, sometimes you're like, cursive, okay, we'll do it. And then when the friends start saying, I know how to do this, we teach them very quickly so that they can feel good about themselves too. So that's what we are learning this year. So for writing and grammar, these are big ones. So for writing, so I love these Evan Moore books, Write a Super Sentence. And we also have Writing a Fabulous Sentence and Paragraphs. So these are fun for creative writing, for teaching your kids to write. Now, so we go through and you write and you use really descriptive words. So it'll tell you what your noun is and what your verb is, and you practice putting in describing words and making fabulous sentences. So these are great. It's fun to see their coloring and then write about it and use their adjectives and their adverbs to dress up sentences. So I always move into the later years into IEW for writing. So by 4th grade, they're doing IEW. And so this is a great head start on that. So I love these books. They also have one about poetry. So here's this one. This is writing poetry, and I love this one because you go through all the different ways to write poetry, and a lot of it you can copy and use again, so you don't have to use it up. But they have different, you can write a haiku, you can write a limerick. So this is a really fun little book that teaches you to write poems. So you can even make shape poems where you make your poems in the shape of something. So this is really fun and really sweet. And as I said, I always like to get an IEW as they get older. I think they have younger books too. I haven't checked this out yet, but if you have, let me know in the comments below, because that is something I'm greatly considering, to do an IEW for a little bit younger, because they're such a good program as they get older. But we do use Fix-It Grammar. Now, I started this with my 4th grader, and I thought my 2nd grader can handle this. I believe it starts for 3rd grade, but I think 2nd graders are totally capable. So this is what it is right here, Fix-It Grammar. Now this one makes it really easy to learn grammar. We're learning about parts of speech, we're learning to label, we're learning to use punctuation and end marks, all great things. So this is great, I love this. So we're writing in here, we're writing our sentence down here, we're going to label it. So you get to label the nouns, you get to label the end mark over here, you're labeling articles, and as it goes deeper and deeper into the program, you're labeling more and more, and you're learning what each thing is. So right here, by this time, by almost the end of the book, we're learning about articles, noun, pronouns, we're learning about adverb clauses and prepositional clauses. So there's so much great stuff in this book. And my kids love this. It's so easy for them to do really quickly. So usually we do 2 days at a time because it's super fast. And the teacher's manual goes through everything and it labels it for you. So if you're not quite sure, it's like an answer key. So it's really good and it gives you great ideas. And as they're not just copying the sentences, every couple of pages you're teaching them about what's a noun, what's a preposition. They're getting practice sentences and things like that. So this is a great program. Anything IEW is pretty much gold to me because it's so well done. It's just excellent, wonderful curriculum. So wow, we've gone through a lot of curriculum. Let me just encourage you. I love to make a checklist each day so that I don't get overwhelmed with trying to do too much. So let me tell you, what I've learned as I've homeschooled more and more is having a schedule is so helpful in staying joyful while you're homeschooling. So let me encourage you, even if you just get a piece of paper and you write math, the Bible, science, and you write what you're going to do for that day and what experiment you're going to do, your life will be so much more peaceful, and you'll feel like you have a start point and an end point, and your kids can check off what they get done, and they know at the end of it, they're done for the day. I also encourage breaks. I used to not do breaks because my kids were so energetic and so hyper. All I could do was just to get them sitting down. But what I realized is they weren't liking school as much. They wanted to move and play. So installing those breaks, those 5 or 10 minute breaks, are so healthy and helpful for them to go run around, have fun, make a snack, different things like that. So don't be rigid. It's so hard because you just want to get it done and you want to do well and have fun. And when you can't do it all in one time period, sometimes it can be a little frustrating. So give those sweet children the breaks and realize that they have so much time to grow and to learn. All right, so I think that concludes all of our videos. So thanks so much for stopping by. I hope to see you again. Drop a note, tell me what year you are in homeschooling, and I would love to hear about it. All right, goodbye.